Welcome back to Eorzea. We are picking up day 3 of Shadowbringers, but first we're going to do the Halloween event. I haven't done on this character, so I need to do it. I wanted to show you, so you know just how to get your new costume. Welcome to TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitch. Congrats on first to Mom Gonna Game for the 37th time this year. Enjoy your lurk, Rhino. It's a lovely Rhino rave you're doing. I've been doing so much Rival Wings because they have the Tombstones event, and God, it's such a pain. It's such a pain. So that's what I'm doing off stream. So far, we're getting closer and closer to that Oppressor mount, and I want that. And I'm mad that I saw that that's available, because now I feel pressured to get all the way to rank 25. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so for the Halloween event, it kicks off in Old Gridania. So go there. Of course, it's Makeddo's Amphitheater, like every other event in Gridania. There is a new thing for sale. As far as I know, the Flying Pumpkin is new. But they also have these magic prisms for Pumpkin, which are available, or were available before. I don't... Where would I have them? I probably just threw them in a bank. Nope, here we go. This is what they look like. They're the same as last year. So if you want those, you can pick them up too. Aether-starved Ahriman. The pumpkin-headed apparition is on the lookout for an able adventurer. It's been more than a few moons since last we met, friend. As it so happens, I have a proposition suited for your talents. Are you prepared to throw caution to the wind and consort with Fiends most foul once again? Of course you are. But before we get to the heart of the matter, let us reflect upon the history of All Saints' Wake. On this night do fell fiends emerge to cavort and careen, unconcerned with the judgments of those on high. For the halls of the saints' heavenly abode ring with merriment as the wine flows freely, and no one can be bothered to look down. Thus did God's-fearing folk greet this particular sunset with trepidation, daring not to venture from their homes. No longer. Nay, for adventurers came and drove out the void scent, restoring safety to the city's streets, and marking the occasion as one of jubilation. That's all well and good, but what of the poor forsaken fiends? Are they too not deserving of revelry? My wish is to see All Saints' Wake reborn as a celebration for all, be they ghost, ghoul, Gridanian, or otherwise. And how do I propose to accomplish this feat? Binding obligations, friend. I've convinced the more sinister sorts to enter into contracts which forbid them from preying on mortals. In exchange, they are permitted to partake in the festivities. But there's one troubled soul who still seems incapable of getting into the spirit of things. Perhaps you'd be willing to give them a helping hand. Nothing too devilishly difficult, I promise. Before you get started, you'll want to get a grasp of the particulars by speaking with Papa Gruff. He ought to be performing one of his shows by the entrance to the Great Loam Brewery. Now go. I shall be watching your performance with great interest. Ghost. Although it pains me so, our humble performance must draw to a close. Let us then end things on a high note. Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you feast your eyes on the fantastic Philcox and his transformation magics. What was all that about? The clowning and whatnot was a right laugh, but that last bit was bleeding rubbish. Come on, let's get out of here. Once more you failed to muster up even an ounce of magical prowess. I had the crowd in the palm of my hand. We'd have been the toast of the town if not for your blunder. There you go again, shrieking the same old tune. I've had it up to my eyeball with this farce. Just because you know a few cheap tricks doesn't give you the right to treat me like that. I can't stand the sight of you, let alone the thought of taking the stage with you again. Good riddance. Well, well. Fate has conspired for us to cross paths once again. Out with it then, I know you're not here to swap pleasantries. A foul fiend failing to get into the spirit of All Saints' Wake? I'd wager you speak of Philcox, the fellow who stormed off in a huff. Like most of our ilk, Philcox and I have an insatiable appetite for ether, but unlike your garden variety voidsent who hunt hapless mortals like beasts, we prefer to sate our hunger with the enthusiastic approval. I tell you, there's no ether as delectable as you'll find in food gifted in genuine appreciation, which set me to thinking. Perhaps preying on mortals was an old-fashioned and misguided approach. Thus did I commit to giving folk the sort of frights that dazzle and delight, winning hearts and minds, and in the process no small number of ether-laden delicacies. And what better occasion for such terrifying amusements as All Saints' Wake? The method is catching, too. Many voidsent now seek ether in this manner. Philcox is one such reformed individual. When I first laid eyes upon him, I sensed promise. But get him in front of a crowd, and you're lucky to get a smattering of half-hearted applause, let alone a few measly crumbs. You're better off hearing it from the Ahriman's mouth, though. He can't have gotten far. Mom got a game. Hello, welcome in, welcome back. Congrats on first for the 37th time this year. How are you? That sniveling whelp of an imp. Magic's this, magic's that. The sheer unbridled cheek of it. Philcox is practically frothing at the mouth, so incensed is he by his treatment at the hands of Papa Gruff. He must soothe him before attempting to start conversation. Soothe. Apologies. I had taken leave of my senses. Your timely intervention is much appreciated. Wait, by the look of you, I'd say you're an adventurer. Let me guess. That pumpkin-headed lady sent you to check on me, did she? Suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you my tale. Try as I might, I just can't get the hang of transformation magics. Without the means to delight the crowds, we're starved for appreciation. I'm an Ahriman. Paralyzing prey with this big eye of mine? Not a problem. Turn them to stone with a petrifying glare? A trifling task. Hells, I can even smell despair and all manner of negative emotions in the people around me. Obviously, paralysis and petrification won't win over an audience. My metaphorical nose for despair isn't going to put ether on the table either. I ought to just tell that pumpkin-headed lady I'm not cut out for this business. If you're here at her behest, you better come too. I gather you had a hand in Philcox's decision to lay bare his thoughts and feelings. Not that it did any good. I'm still stuck at square one. Underappreciated and underfed. Such a curious child. Are you truly so blind to your own potential? No doubt you have an inkling as to what I speak of. Pray share your wisdom with Vilcox. Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find a void sent who'd suggest that. I don't see how helping others helps me. But then again, I know little of mortal ways, so perhaps I should heed your advice. Ah, wait, I see the logic in it now. What better way to make use of my talents and knock that pompous Papa Gruff right off his pedestal? No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have no idea where to start. Perhaps I can lend a hand with a little sleight of hand. Hold still. Not only is that get-up guaranteed to turn heads, each and every thread is imbued with a potent magic to aid in your newfound purpose. Oh, I think I can feel it. Maybe this isn't going to be so tough after all. There you are. I thought to apologize for my harsh words earlier, since our act was my initiative and therefore our success, or lack thereof, was ultimately my responsibility. But I sense that you've been scheming. It pleases me to inform you, Papa Gruff, that I've found a way to win over mortals on my own terms. I find that hard to believe, but since you seem so confident, why don't we have ourselves a contest? Whoever garners the most affection, and thereby the largest share of ether-rich victuals, wins. And to the victor go the spoils of subservience. The loser will be bound to obey their every whim. How does that sound? You're on. I hope you're ready to bow and scrape. That mortal epithet about one's bark being worse than one's bite comes to mind. Prepare yourself, Vilcox. I know I've got this marvelous magic outfit, but I'm still not entirely convinced I have what it takes to beat Papa Gruff on my own. Come with me, just until I get the hang of things. That's all I ask. Very well. I shall leave Vilcox in your capable hands. After a nudge in the right direction, Vilcox is ready to embark on his mission. How about we try and find a troubled soul in need of aid? But let's get out of here first. Right, time to look for folk harboring negative feelings. Give me a moment. I don't know if it has anything to do with that pumpkin-headed lady's enchantment, but my powers feel more potent than ever. I've already found someone. And whoever they are, they're awfully flustered. They're to the northeast, I think, but I'm not sure where exactly. The roads here can be confusing. Truth be told, this is my first time in the city. I've got a decent sense of direction, but I've yet to grasp the lie of the land. Could I trouble you to lead the way? Our flustered target is northeast of here. I'll be right behind you. Vilcox is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Vilcox behind by entering a different area or by speaking with him and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have Vilcox join you again, return to speak with him in the original location. While you're accompanied, you may encounter conversation points along the way which offer additional topics of discussion. Enter the glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate these bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring your surroundings together. Ah, such a glee. They mentioned a clown. I'd wager they just had the privilege of seeing one of Papa Gruff's performances. Let's not be the first to admit that he's an expert illusionist. You've only got to look at the folk like these ladies to see that he knows how to work a crowd. But I won't be upstaged. I prove there's more than one way to win over an audience, by following your timely advice, that is. Given the delight written on their faces, our opponent must have earned himself some sustenance, which means we've no time to lose. Onward. Oh gods, where's she gotten to? This must be the fellow my senses were leading me to. Shall we find out what ails him? You there! What's gotten you so worked up? Oh, forgive me. There's this poor little girl who had been separated from her mother. I was helping her look, but she suddenly disappeared. Can't simply abandon her, but then again I have an urgent personal matter to attend to, and I don't know what to do. In that case, why don't I and my associate look for the girl? Then you can see to your affairs without worry. Thank you. She's a young lass dressed in blue. I hope you're able to find her forthwith. He certainly was appreciative, yet here I am empty-handed. Forget the food. We have a lost child to find. I'm detecting a despairing presence to the east of here. Odds are it's the girl, which means I have need of your navigational new once again. After you. I thought this would be a fine opportunity to accrue some appreciation, but the poor girl's beside herself. She keeps calling out for her mama. Might I enlist your help? This must be the lost lass we've been looking for. If we want to earn her thanks, we'll need to reunite her with her mother, wouldn't you say? Which means we now have a lady to locate. Any suggestions? You're saying that the mother will be worried about her daughter having gone missing. Brilliant. This is exactly why I had you accompany me. Right then. Found her. I don't know which is the bigger boon, having you by my side or this fancy finery. I think I've learned my way around the city more or less. I'll handle this next part on my own. Wait here, I'll be back with the girl's mother in no time. Well, be praised, you're safe. You have my eternal gratitude. Thanks for finding Mama, mister. Do you believe me now, Papa Gruff? Sweet, sweet appreciation, and all courtesy of my special talent. I can't help but notice they didn't offer you anything edible by way of thanks. For my part, I've already been rewarded with a tasty morsel. That said, the gift of food is far from guaranteed. Indeed, perseverance is key, which is why I find myself performing show after show. I suggest you approach this contest with the same tenacity, Philcox. I'm afraid he's right. Constant effort is key. Luckily, I sensed another troubled soul while I was tracking down the girl's mother. I'd better see what I can do to help. You know, I think I'm ready to go it alone now. Why don't you let our pumpkin-headed benefactor know? I'll come and find you when I'm done. Well, I'm afraid my next performance calls. Until we meet again, adventurer. The adventure returns, and at the precise moment I predicted. I do hope keeping Philcock's company wasn't too taxing. What of our fiend and his endeavors? You have my thanks, truly. Speak of the devils, here they come. Dear, oh dear, that turned out to be a damn sight harder than I'd anticipated. And all I have to show for my travails is a single cookie. To think the first gift I'd receive would prove to be the last. Curses, I didn't receive so much as a crumb. Suppose this means you win. Very well, I'm yours to command, Papa Gruff. You admit defeat far too readily, Philcox. Hooray! We found you! I wanted to thank you properly for helping me and Mama. I brought you a pumpkin cookie. Simply scrumptious! I'm glad you like it. Farewell. That makes it one apiece. A draw, then. Still, Philcox, while you had some assistance along the way, you've nevertheless done yourself proud. To think I'd live to see the day Papa Gruff sings my praises. Awfully kind of you to finally admit that I might have worth. Is that all you desire? My begrudging acceptance? Have you forgotten your reasons for joining in the festivities in the first place? Of course I haven't. The good people of Gridania are still in need of my help. And where there are common folk in need, there are cookies to be freed, and, given to me. Adventure, I'd better be going, but before I do, let me say this. I might have found a way to make the most of my talents, but I wouldn't have been able to do so without you and the pumpkin-headed lady. I'm sure we'll run into each other again one of these days. Till then. The promise I sensed in Philcox when he and I first met wasn't illusory after all. I should take my leave too. It would be remiss of me to allow him to garner all the glory. Say nothing of the cookies. I'd say those two fiends ended up having themselves a frightfully fun-filled All Saints' Wake. Wouldn't you agree? And for your part in this, a fitting reward. I present you a set of finery as worn by Gridania's most emotionally perceptive Ahriman. Perhaps you wonder if your outfit is endowed with the same enchantment. You needn't worry, there never was an enchantment. That little charade was my way of giving Philcox the confidence he so sorely lacked. Although I dare say such a measure was unnecessary, given he had you to cheer him on. Before I forget, you are hereby cordially invited to my humble abode for a get-together of sorts. Do drop by. I assure you it will be frightfully entertaining. Anyway, your help is much appreciated. At this rate, my vision of an All Saints' Wake for mortals and voidsmen alike might not be such a distant prospect, but I do hope these shenanigans haven't dulled your enthusiasm for this most occult of occasions. You now have access to Sneaky Hollow. Speak with the unusual usher at Mikedo's amphitheater to be escorted to the costume party. The Little Fiends in Life achievement unlocked. And that's all there is to this year's Halloween event. And you can buy stuff there, of course. Alright, Manager of Suites, what do you have to tell us? An unwelcome guest. The Manager of Suites is wearing a grave expression. Begging your pardons, miss, but do you perchance intend to head outside? If so, I would strongly advise you not to stray too far from the Crystarium. Word has it that Yulmore has dispatched his military to Lakeland. Given the timing, one can only assume they do not welcome the return of night. Even now, the Exarch is in the ocular, deliberating a response. Do you have business with the Crystal Exarch? Just say the word, I would be happy to escort you to the ocular.
You have come at a good time. As you may have heard, we have something of a quandary on our hands. Laxon Loft here in Lakeland. Yulmore has sent one of its airships. They have questions for us concerning the death of the Light Warden. Their emissary makes his way here even as we speak.
I suppose the sky does rather give the game away.
Indeed. 'Twas inevitable they would come knocking. The only question was how soon.
My lord, I am come with the Yulmoran emissary. May I show him in?
A moment, Captain, if you would. Everyone, gather round. I do not wish to show our hand prematurely. Forgive me this liberty. Vanish. Enter. Well, well. The commander of the Yulmoran army himself. To what do I owe the honor, General Ranjit?
The Light Warden is dead, Exarch. Were your people responsible?
You are clearly in some haste, my lord. But before I address your question, you must allow me one of my own. What is Yulmore's interest in this?
His benevolence, Lord Vorthry, is gravely concerned that the actions of an ignorant few may jeopardize relations between man and Sin Eater. Should it transpire that the Crystarium is guilty of abetting the villains responsible for this outrage, my lord has decreed that it suffer the same retribution.
I see. Since you have been so candid, I too shall speak my mind. Regardless of who is responsible, the Crystarium rejoices in the Light Warden's death and welcomes the return of the night sky. If Yulmore considers this tantamount to aiding those you term villains, then by all means, carry out your retribution. Know, however, that even should every innocent soul in the Crystarium perish, nothing can stop that which has been set in motion.
Folly. The death of one or 1,000 sin-eaters changes nothing. The world is dead, and writhe as we might, like maggots in its rotting course, it will not be reborn. Only by my master's grace may we live out our days in peace. But I waste my breath. You have made your stance clear. I shall relay your words to Lord Vorthry. In the meantime, you would do well to counsel any here who have done more than merely rejoice in recent events, to throw themselves upon Yulmore's mercy, promptly. One last matter. We are searching for a young artist and his assistant. Know you of whom I speak?
An artist and his assistant, no. I cannot say I do.
What a pity. Should they reveal themselves to you, I bid you hand them over at once. My master is most eager to see them again.
Am I imagining things, or did he just stare straight at us?
I fear he did. The General is not a man to be trifled with. He is a warrior of fearsome repute who has led Yulmore's army since before Vorthry's time, when the nation still spearheaded the fight against the Sin-Eaters. One does not command the world's mightiest army, and for so long, without possessing exceptional instincts.
If Yulmore chose to send such an individual, we must assume this talk of retribution is more than an idle threat. While we are grateful for your support, my lord, we cannot in good conscience put your people in harm's way.
'Tis noble of you to say, Master Alphino, but my people have been in harm's way since long before you arrived. Yulmore has ever yearned to rule over what remains of the world. Even should we surrender the Warrior of Darkness to them, they would find some other pretext upon which to invade. The people of the Crystarium know this only too well, which is why, when the time comes, I am certain they will fight to the last man. If truth be told, I would not have been surprised had Ranjit declared war here and now.
He may have reason to delay. According to reports, the Yulmoran forces at Laxan Loft were observed taking a prisoner. A young woman believed to be none other than the Oracle of Light, Minfilia. It may be that General Ranjit wishes to convey her to Yulmore before commencing hostilities. Having mentored generations of Minfilias, it would not surprise me if he had made her capture his chief concern.
Ah, of course. How remiss of me. I had intended to speak to you of Minfilia. There is, however, much to say, and precious little time in which to say it. I think it best that you seek out Moren at the Cabinet of Curiosity. He'll be able to enlighten you. Alphino, Alize, would you care to accompany your friend? You doubtless have insights of your own to offer on the matter.
All right. Though I'm still not sure I understand it all myself.
In the meantime, I will set about making provisions for war.
Yes, if you're looking after books pertaining to the Warrior of Darkness, I'm afraid most are out on loan at present. They're experiencing quite a surge in popularity. Oh, you wish to learn about the Oracle of Light? Then it would be my pleasure to assist. After I finished off some few outstanding tasks, that is. While I attend to them, perhaps you could fetch me a book. The Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light, it's called. Though it's intended for younger readers, it provides an excellent summary of the subject matter, and the artwork is quite lovely besides. I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone with an interest in learning about Minfilia. But you must see for yourself. The book should be located on the level below. Should, I say. While there is a place for everything here, not everything is always in its place, despite my best efforts. In short, if the book is not where it should be, it will almost certainly be somewhere it shouldn't, so, good luck! Great. Maybe it'll be here. Maybe we don't have to go other places to complete this quest. No. Book does not appear to be here. Nor is it here. Just as your eyes begin to blur, they finally come to rest on a copy of the Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light. Have you found the book? And of younger readers, this tome featuring winsome illustrations tells the beloved tale of the Oracle of Light. Yes, this is the one! I hope it wasn't too difficult to track down. I'm happy to say I've finished all my pressing tasks. If you want to call your friends over, we can begin learning at once. Without further ado, then. It began 100 years ago, when the flood of light threatened to swallow Norvant. Just as all seemed lost, a savior appeared to halt the all-consuming radiance. A maiden with hair of spun gold and eyes of clearest sapphire. Naught was known about her save that her name was Minfilia, and for delivering the realm, she came to be revered as the Oracle of Light. After stopping the flood, the mysterious maiden vanished without a trace, but 15 years later, her name would unexpectedly reappear in the annals of history. Oh my god, it's amazing. When Sin Eaters laid ruin to the kingdom of Vobert, a young girl was discovered who was immune to the creature's blighted touch. One with hair of spun gold and eyes of clearest sapphire. She was hailed as the Oracle Reborn and came to likewise be called Minfilia. Enlisting in the Umoran army, this Minfilia fought and vanquished countless Sin Eaters. Alas, like so many other soldiers, she eventually met her end in battle. Yet with her dying breath she whispered unto the grieving comrades, Minfilia will return. And true to her words, some years later, another young girl was discovered who possessed the self-same eyes, the self-same hair, and those self-same powers. She too took the name Minfilia. She too fought Sin Eaters as a soldier of Yulmor, and she too fell in battle. Many more were to follow in her footsteps, and so the cycle continues to this day. And that concludes the tale. By their valor and sacrifice, these women have saved Norvrent on numerous occasions, and were it not for them, we might never have learned the Light Wardens and their nature. They sound like formidable warriors. Some, perhaps. The truth is rather less simple. Though the Oracle is reborn with certain common traits, she does not inherit the memories of the knowledge of the previous incarnations. All the Minfilias thus far were discovered as ordinary girls, unversed in the ways of war and ignorant of the power they harbored. While some embraced their fate and devoted themselves to training, others did not, but all were made to face the Sin Eaters, and all died to keep our hopes alive. What can you tell us about the current Minfilia? She was found by the Umoran army some 10 years ago and taken into their care, or rather their custody. She was a prisoner in all but name. For by that time, under Lord Vathary's rule, Umor had already abandoned resistance in favor of decadence. Minfilia was an uncomfortable reminder of the war they no longer wished to fight, a potential threat to the peace, and so they kept under lock and key. For a long while, we heard nothing more of her. We couldn't even be certain she was alive, save that it was in Umoran's best interest for her to remain under their control. But then, 3 years ago, a gallant soul stole into the city and rescued her from their clutches, just like a hero from the tales. Indeed. Well, I believe we now have a good grasp of Minfilia's tale. Thank you for your time, Oren. Might I trouble you for a word, Faedwin? Outside. As you will have already surmised, the gallant soul who rescued Minfilia was none other than our dear Thancred. They have since been wandering the land together, never remaining in one place for long, which is why we have not yet had a chance to meet them. We know that Minfilia journeyed here as Heidelin's emissary to halt the flood of light. It could only be her that the people the first witnessed 100 years ago, the original Oracle of Light. But while there's plainly some connection between the woman we knew and her namesakes, the fact that these girls do not share her memories must surely mean they are not the same person. Thancred has to understand that. I have no doubt that he understands. The question is how he feels. Regardless, the Thancred we know will not forsake his charge. If she has been captured, we may be certain he will not stand idly by. There you go again, talking in your roundabout way. If you think we should rescue Minfilia, just spit it out. It just so happens I agree with you. It's quite clear that this Minfilia possesses Heidelin's blessing. And it wouldn't hurt to have a second such individual at our side. Right, Faedwin? I see you've made up your minds. Exarch, what brings you here? A report and a proposal. First, the report. Rascasso confirmed the Umoran forces at Laxon Loft do indeed have Minfilia in their custody. For the present, they are holding her there, but we can be certain they will move her to Umor ere long. Should that happen, we may be forced to give her up as lost. So if we mean to act, we should do so quickly. Which brings me to my proposal. I ask that you entrust this undertaking to us, the people of the Crystarium. Exarch is eager to delve into the details of his proposal.
You are doubtless eager to attempt Minfilia's rescue, and with your combined strength, you may well succeed. But as I said earlier, I do not wish to show our hand unless absolutely necessary. 'Twas not merely the night sky that you restored to us, but hope. Hope for the future of Norvrand. Unlike you, we cannot contend with the Light Wardens, but so long as hope burns in our hearts, we will fight on regardless. This I will prove to you. My friends, I thank you for gathering at such short notice. There is something I would ask you all. As many of you are aware, I received an emissary from Yulmore a short while ago in the form of General Ranjit. To my dismay, the General condemned the slaying of the Light Warden, and warned me in no uncertain terms that, should the Crystarium cast its lot with the Warrior of Darkness, there would be war. Let none be mistaken. We would be hard-pressed indeed to resist the might of Yulmore. Some would even call it suicide. And yet my heart cries out to fight. Better that than relinquish the hope that swelled in my breast when I beheld the night sky for the first time in 100 years. Or so says my heart. My mind, meanwhile, reminds me that to follow my heart would be to risk everything we have accomplished thus far. Clearly, this is not a decision to be made lightly, nor less alone. And so I put the question to you all. What should we do?
My lord, you already know our minds. It brought tears to our eyes to witness the knight's return. The whole of Norvrand deserves the same, and not just because some children's story tells us so.
Yulmore's influence is far-reaching. Should war break out, trade would be subject to restrictions. The flow of goods will dry up, and we will struggle to make do with what little trickles through. But make do, we will.
Aye, we can weather such hardships. Is that not the very thing the Crystarium was built for? We have always taken pride in our ability to sustain ourselves. Not just to endure, but to thrive.
When all falls down around you, rise up. Those were your words. There may come a day when all hope seems lost, but even should the rest of the world give in to despair, we shall not. We shall fight on, that our children and our children's children might know a better tomorrow.
Rousing words apart, I never much cared for those Yulmoran bastards anyway. No better than common swindlers, most of them. Wouldn't know a fair deal if it came up and kissed them on the arse.
Trust you to spoil the moment.
It appears we have a consensus. Let it be known that the Yulmoran host at Laxon Loft has taken the Oracle of Light captive. They fear the power she holds over the Sin Eaters, and doubtless intend to imprison her once more. So, I move that we rescue the Oracle, grant her a place among us, and let that be our answer to Yulmore's ultimatum.
Hear, hear!
Hear, hear!
In planning a strategy for the rescue, I open the floor to you all.
And there you have it. If Yulmore wishes to denounce us as villains, then we shall embrace our villainy. Will you do so as well?
We will not be outdone. Consider us your partners in crime.
My lord, our proposal is as follows. We begin by deploying Amaro to occupy the skies over Lakeland. They should serve to delay the airship's departure. At the same time, we scatter dream powder from the air. Not all will succumb to its effects, but it should thin the enemy's numbers, affording us an opening to swoop in and liberate the Oracle.
Very good. See to your preparations.
And what exciting crimes would you have us commit? Speaking for my fellow villains, I'd say we're capable of most things, though we draw the line at indolence.
If excitement is your desire, then I bid you join the guard. Captain Lena will give you your orders.
So you'll be joining the guard. But however highly the Exarch thinks of you, you will receive no special treatment from me, is that clear? Where's your salute, soldier? Better. More spirited than the Exarch's feeble attempts, certainly. Now first things first, you will need uniforms. Go to the Crystalline Mine and report to Catalyst. Choose you measured and fitted. And there's the last of them. Your friends are being measured as we speak. Right this way. We'll see to you look dashing best. You're dashing best for your first outing. Done, are you? Let's have a look at this. I see. How goes it? Sorry, Captain. I'm afraid we won't have anything on hand that's already fit. But we do have a few that are fairly close. We should be able to make them work with some minor adjustments. Very well then. See to it, and I have the units delivered directly to the field. I should take this opportunity to brief you on the mission. As mentioned earlier, we will deploy Amaro to scatter dream powders from the air. Once the powder takes effect, the lead unit will storm the fortress to rescue the Oracle. A safe liberation is our sole objective. Engagement is to be avoided wherever possible. I assume we're to be part of said unit. Correct. The unit will be divided into two contingents, one deploying for Fort Job and the other from the Oslo Imperative. You and Alphino would join the former. Bateman, meanwhile, will join the latter with me. Before you proceed to your positions, you are to report to Chesamil at Spaghetti. Spagyrix? Spagina? God, I hope I remember to take that part out of the VOD. Spagyrix? What is the fucking word? Note to future Corcher when you're editing this. Fucking clip that part. Shush you with a serum to ward off the effects of dream powder. We shall be on our way then. Take care, my friend, and we will see you in the field. It's quite far to the Imperative, so you make use of the Amaro from the rookery, after you have collected the serum, of course. Yes, sweetie? Is there something you need? Oh, one of the guard come for your dram, are you? Here you go. A dose of this will keep you firmly in the waking world while your enemies are off in dreamland. Now, if this is your first time, I should warn you. It's bitter as sin. Prince's Kiss, they call it, but if you ask me, it should be Crone's Kiss. Just aside, the stuff really is foul. Most people gag like there's no tomorrow. But if you don't drain every last drop, you're liable to end up taking a trip to Dreamland yourself. So I must ask you to drink it here and now while I watch. Come on, give the old crone a kiss. Well, I guess we gotta do it. Well done, sweetie. I'm proud of you. Well, if I didn't know any better, I'd even say you enjoyed it. And now you needn't fear falling asleep on the battlefield. Just have care you don't lose any limbs out there, alright? They don't tend to grow back. Yes, what do you require of me? An Amro to take you to the Imperative, eh? As much as I would like to oblige, all our mounts are reserved for the coming operation. I fear you will have to go by foot. But wait, there might be another way, assuming you're willing to lend a hand. I was about to deliver an Amro to Radiska's Round, one of the locations whence the beast will fly for the operation. The tower lies along a route to the Imperative. If near enough is good enough for you, you may make the delivery in my stead. Very good. Shall ready the Amro for departure at once. Radiska's Round is to the north and west. You can take the road or you can fly. It's up to you. Upon arriving, make yourself known to the sentry. She'll give you further instructions. If you should become separated from the Amro, worry not. The beast are trained to return to the rookery. That is all. Go well. Oh, you're delivering that Amro to us. I'm afraid there's been a change of plans. I already have all the beasts we require here. Instead, this one is going to go to the Imperative to the west. Please see it to the handler on duty. It says event, though. If you encounter trouble along the path, return here and I'll set you lightwise. Ah, the last Amro. My thanks, friend. You may leave the beast with me. Alright, I'll be back. I saw a crystal that needs touching. Say I don't believe I know you. Did you join the guard recently? So that's the way of it. Well, you managed to arrive, and that's all that matters in the end. I bid you welcome to Hostile Imperative, one of our key strongholds in Lakeland. First thing you want to do is report to the captain. You'll find her at the lookout across the way. So it seems that rather than the Amro delivering you, you deliver the Amro. I will not thank you. I expect all my soldiers to make themselves useful. Speaking of which, I have a task for you. In readiness for the operation, the Amro will need to be treated with the same serum as us. As you well know, however, it is not pleasant. In order to coax them into taking it, we have sprinkled it on their fodder. All that remains is to feed it to them, a task I am sure you will enjoy. Fetch the fodder from the Amro launch to see to the beasts. And see to 4 the beasts dismissed. The Amro happily devours the fodder. The Amuro absent-mindedly munches on the fodder. The Amuro is wary at first, but appetite eventually wins out, and it accepts the fodder. The Amuro reels at the smell, but accepts the fodder nonetheless. The Amuro are fed. Good. The rest have already been dosed, so we need not fear any of our mouths succumbing to the dream powder. Our units have now entered the final stages of the preparations. The time is nigh. Make ready and await deployment atop the main watchtower. I was in uniform as soon as it arrives. That is all. May night smile upon us. The operation is about to commence. Stand ready. During the operation, some of your gear will be glamored. Your attributes and abilities will be unaffected.
Keep moving. What now?
The Crystarium, I guess. Desperate fools. It'll take more than a handful of overgrown lizards to ground us.
You're gonna be... Sound the alarm!
Captain, the powder has taken effect.
It is time. Let us free the Oracle from their clutches.
Let's give them a show!
Thank you. Are you from the Crystarium? Correct. We've come to rescue you. Your weapons. Made to the same specifications as tankards. Be ready to use them. Understood. Please lead the way. Brazen thieves. You will regret coming here.
Persist in this folly! It's over!
You, boy. You bear a striking resemblance to the artist my master seeks. By all means, keep your counsel. You will all have ample time to confess your crimes back in Yulmore.
Thancred?
So, you are the wretch who stole her from us.
And what if I am? What?
Pathetic. Vermin such as you are not worthy of the Oracle.
You would see your city razed.
I would sooner see it razed than conquered. Suffice it to say, we are ready to receive you.
What now, Exarch? Will you face me yourself?
I think not, General. I've quite exhausted my tricks. If you mean to give chase, I will not stand in your way. But you would do well to tread warily, for your quarry goes to a place where even Yulmore dare not bear its steel. Mheg, the Faerie kingdom.
mountain of indolence still had the energy to unleash his hounds. Even the most pointless of conflicts may alter a world's course. And now the plan has gone awry. But how? How did the so-called Crystal Exarch bring the hero of the Source to the First? As if I didn't have enough on my hands already. Then again, with a soul such as that, mayhap there is another way. One which does not require bloodshed.
Not so long ago, here in the shadow of the northern ranges, lay the great kingdom of Thurbert. A nation with a proud history that the Sin Eaters cut short, just like all the rest. Since that time, these lands have become a haven for Fae folk. Dreamers frolicking amidst the ruins of a forgotten realm.
We should be safe enough here. It's good to see you again, my friends. I don't know about you, but it feels like years since last we met. 5 of them in my case.
Why, it only feels like 1 to me, but long enough to warrant a more convivial reunion either way. What brought you to Laxon Loft?
The girl, Minfilia, she and I were traveling together, hunting Sin Eaters. But as we were nearing Lakeland, she abruptly ran off on her own. I found her too late to stop the Ulmorans from taking her prisoner. And as I was considering rescue options, I observed that the Crystarium was on the move. So I consulted the Exarch, who apprised me of the details of the operation and issued me certain instructions. Should the situation take a turn for the worse, I was to see you all safely to Mheg. And here we are.
Urianger has called this place home for a while now. Yet we have never called upon him, I am ashamed to say. 'Twas only at the Crystarium that we met.
Hardly surprising. This is not the sort of place one visits on a whim. Happily, having trespassed on Urianger's hospitality for a spell, Minfilia and I have an idea of how things work around here. Sooner or later, the Ulmorans will come after us. But before they do, the Exarch bids us accomplish 2 things. First, rendezvous with Urianger. And second, eliminate the Light Warden of this land.
So, Minfilia? What made you leave Thancred behind, if you don't mind me asking?
You. The hero from another world. I was asleep when I felt it. A presence. Someone I was meant to meet. They were close and I knew I had to go to them. But with all the commotion in Lakeland, I was afraid that Thancred wouldn't let me.
And would I have been wrong? Had I arrived a moment later, you would be back in your cell in Yulmore. And now we have Ranjit snapping at our heels. You really have outdone yourself this time.
I'm sorry. Thank you for saving me.
Oh, poor thing being scolded so.
Who said that? Show yourselves.
Come now, put away that frown and have some fun with us. Yes, let us have some fun. Lots and lots of fun.
Which way was it to Urianger's?
We've been there so many times, but I can't. Why can't I remember?
Damn it all. We're already caught in their spell.
Mheg is the Faerie kingdom, and as one might expect, it is home to the Fae folk. The most prominent among them are the pixies, who have a penchant for making mischief. They use powerful illusions to play tricks on all who venture into their domain. By way of an example, they can make a familiar path seem wholly unfamiliar, or lead you to believe you're somewhere you're not. And we are now, I am sorry to say, entirely at their mercy. As it stands, we cannot hope to find the way of Urianger. For that, we must convince the pixies to lift the spell. From what I can make of the voices, the creatures want to play with us. If that is the case, they should permit us to find the village, Little Ran. Come, I have a sneaking suspicion this path will lead us directly into their midst. Oh, and I should mention that Minfilia has been informed of our situation, of the different worlds in our mission. You may consider her an ally. Well, here we are. Yet the pixies are nowhere to be seen. Knowing them, their games have already begun, in which case... There's a variety of plant native to these parts with a distinctive furrowed tip. Looking grass is its name, so called because it can be used to spy pixies, believe it or not. I'll explain how all of it is later. But first, I need you to help me find some. If a voice calls to you, under no circumstances should you respond. You only subject yourself to further mischief. You search the scrub but find nothing resembling looking grass. Suddenly a voice rings out. What is it that you seek, child? Perhaps I can help you find it. Such a rude child, and too clever by half. I shall seek my fun elsewhere. Jake. It's not Friday. You got it right one time. Welcome in. Searching the script, you find what appears to be looking grass. Suddenly a voice rings out. Oh, a visitor? Where are you from, pray tell? Perhaps this one's hard of hearing. What brings you here? Stone deaf, how boring. Still, picking plants at our village is as good as indulging in our hospitality, nor are we to turn you away. Stay a while, stay forever. Your body begins to feel heavy. I take it you met with some trouble. Apologies for subjecting you to that. Can I assume from your presence that you managed to find us some looking grass? Yes, this is the stuff. Thus armed, we should be able to see through the Pixie's veil of invisibility, and seeing them is the first step to dealing with them. Come, let's gather everyone and put Urianger's little trick to good use.
Farasitha, Krakleath.
Oh, we're found! How did this mortal know our trick?
Wait! I recognize their souls. These two have been here before.
Look, twins! How adorable!
Oh!
Plea with us!
We have neither the time nor inclination to play. We have come to see Urianger.
Oh yes, Urianger, the peculiar one. In return for a place in Mheg, he agreed to a riddle contest with us for 7 days and 7 nights without any sleep.
Oh, that was so much fun! We must do it again!
I'm sure he'd be delighted. Now, if you'd be so kind as to lift your spell.
Shall we?
Should we?
Would we?
What now?
I don't know, but this is their home, so we must indulge them.
Right, we've made up our minds. We will lift our spell on one condition. That you first lend us a helping hand. Or 2. Or 3. Once you've helped solve all of our troubles, we'll let you see Urianger. Pixie's honor.
Well, there you have it. Pixie chores. I suggest we split up.
Oh, look at me, I have a task for you. Little Iran is our beloved village, and we want it to always look lovely, and it can't look lovely without flowers blooming. And no flowers bloom lovelier than everblooms. Clear the everbloom seeds. Take them and sow them here, there, and everywhere around the village. Simple as a dimple, yes? But we are in a land of fairies in Final Fantasy XIV, and I don't like it. Thank you for your raid, sir. We got to this, I guess, this expansion, really, 2 weeks or so ago. And, like, in part of the story, they had a fairy come out, a pixie come out. I had to make a deal with them for being able to access my gear, basically. And I was like, oh, I hate that. I've played games where that's a bad thing. And, well, once you know it, now we're doing chores for them. There used to be a city of mortals here, a great big bustling place called Verbert or Vovert or some such. But the Cinders came and everyone disappeared. So since then we pixies have been living here, and we've given the old houses our touch. Lovely, don't you think? Well, I can't wait for the flowers to bloom. Perhaps I'll make pretty curtains out of them. Mortal, mortal, hear my plea. Our precious children are thirsty, and I need you to bring them water. Who are our children, you ask? Why, they're the leafmen you see standing about our village. Adorable, aren't they? Now you need to go to Longmire Lake to draw the water. Once you have it, see that our children have a good drenching. Oh, but be warned, the Ffxiv make their home in the lake. They tend to play rough, so have care. You done sowing the seeds? Thank you. This shall help Little Around live up to its name, which means flower house, in case you weren't aware. We weren't always here, you know. We used to live deep in a lush forest. It was beautiful beyond compare, but almost all of it was swallowed up by the light. For a while we roamed, but eventually we found a place that men had abandoned. Together with our fellow Fey folk, we decided to make it our new home. The land of everlasting spring. This is our home, and it could be yours too, forever and ever and ever. I'm so hungry I may faint. Fruit, little fruit was something alright. Will you go and fetch some for me? Just outside the village you'll find a hillock. 2 great bell trees grow there. If you give them a shake, they should render their sweet succulent burdens. Sweet succulent burdens. Not looking forward to pronouncing some of these places. God damn it, Jake. No. Welcome back, Hybrid. Giving water to our children, thank you ever so much. They're all very dear to us. They wandered to Omega's stray mortals, but we grew attached to them and decided to take them in. You and yours would have been our children too, but the enchantment didn't catch as well as we'd hoped. It's never too late, of course. What? They got turned to fucking plants? Goddamn berries. That's why you don't make deals with Fey folk. So hungry. Did you get the fruit? Oh, thank you ever so much. You saved me. Saved me from my boredom. You should have seen the look on your face when the bugs came down. You've done the great deal. You've done me a great service, mortal. There's one thing we pixies are serious about is having fun. Dull and painful things? Hate them! Sin eaters are dull and painful both, so we hate them especially. Mortals try to fight those monstrosities, but there's no fun in that. Let's avoid them altogether, we say. How goes it? So a mix of menial tasks and pranks. Yes, that pretty much sums up my own experience. They have no troubles worthy of the name. How long are we supposed to keep at this? They've been playing with us. Indeed, whenever I inquire how much more there is to be done, the answer is ever the same, a little. I doubt that they have any intention of releasing us in the near future. Errand once told me a story about the pixies. They're born from the souls of those who died as children, or so it's believed. Though they don't have any memories of previous lives, the desire to have fun remains, imprinted on their souls. And so they live only to play, keeping hapless mortals for their pleasure for years on end, sometimes even until death. In the past, when I sought to identify the true nature of ghosts, I came upon literature examining a similar subject. The soul is likened to a core that resides in the ether, and its presence is what differentiates us from beings as sprites as arcane entities. Upon death, said core ordinarily dissipates alongside the ether that composes the flesh. However, may be held together by bound to the corporeal realm, either by the will of an owner, or by means of certain arts. In time, the soul may regather ether into itself to assume another form, or find newly emerged life in which to abide. The pixies may be one such instance of this. If ghosts are merely souls without bodies, what does that make us? I think you've become that which you fear most, brother dearest. However the pixies may have come into being, if we leave them to judge when they are satisfied, they will never be satisfied. Nay, we must negotiate new terms with the creatures, but where to begin? It seems to me we would need at least one among them to sympathize with us. In the course of your chores, did any of you encounter a pixie who seemed even faintly amenable to reason? What? You knew a pixie from before? Not only are you acquainted, but you've entered into a pact. You might have mentioned this sooner. At any rate, I dare to hope that this will offer us a way out. Without further delay, then, summon this fail, if you please. A voice rings out in your mind. So, my sapling has finally remembered about her lovely branch. With such a half-hearted call, she may as well lop me off and cast me aside. I have no sapling. I have to type... This is the quest I'm on right now. I have to type out and say, please, Faerie, I need you. Don't fuck with Fae folk. Enjoy your lyric, Jake. Yeah, hybrid. Well, it sounds like you did what you needed to do. I do have a fervent call. Sudden log, do with more fire. Oh, loveliest of branches. What? Please grant me your succor. Fuck's sake.
You're late! Late!
been waiting for you to summon me ever since you came here. Waiting and waiting and waiting. But my sapling didn't so much as utter my name. Such a heartless thing she is. Cold and cruel and heartless!
Another self-important little brat. Just what we need.
Reminds me of my childhood.
All right, I'm sorry. It was a joke. Honestly, just a joke.
But just now you called for me so earnestly, so fervently. I couldn't possibly stay angry at you. Very well. As your lovely branch, I will lend you my strength.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Theo Ool, the mold Theo. It's been too long.
Not long enough for you to think of any new games, though, apparently. If I were you, I'd be bored of myself. Now let me make something clear. That mortal is mine. No matter what you do, she will never be yours. Never, never, ever!
Oh, not even a bit. But what about the others? Surely we can keep them.
No, you can't keep them either! They're for my amusement and mine alone! And if you lay so much as a finger on my sapling, I'll scatter the contents of her bag all over your precious village. There'll be cold, hard metal, furry, festering food, stinky, sweaty small clothes, and all manner of other terrible, unmentionable things. How would you like that,
All right. But will you not at least let us play with the twins? Just while the others go and see Urianger?
Aye, that's all we ask. And we promise we'll play nicely.
It seems we won't be joining you.
Aye! We'll reveal the hidden verdict to you at once.
So this is the true Mheg.
How are you feeling?
Better. I think I remember the way now.
Apologies for the delay. Shall we go and see Urianger?
Your lovely branch is useful, yes? So whenever you're in trouble, you must remember to make use of me!
Often when Alize's sakes, let us be quick. Be ashamed to return only to find they have been made to play one game too many. And the place we seek is the abandoned manor of a nobleman and scholar. The Bookman's Shelves is called after the fellow's vast collection of tomes. An agreeable habitat for our friend, I'm sure you will agree. Follow the path north, we should soon find the place. Come along. And here we are at long last. I give you Ranger's humble abode. Come, let's see if he's home.
Urianger, are you in?
Unto a world weary of heroes, a hero wends her way. The Exarch did send word that thou wouldst seek me out, but ne'er did I imagine thou wouldst arrive so soon. Full glad am I to see thee once more, my friend, and none the worse for thy travails.
Run along, Minfilia. We will meet you outside.
But...
Another one for you to imbue, if you'd be so kind.
I take it thou hast met with our other comrades already? That Master Alphino and Mistress Alize now travel in thy company is of great comfort to me. As for the rest, it beginneth in earnest. The hunting of the Light Wardens, and perforce the war with Yulmore. Hark thee then to my words, and through them behold the vision that I did glimpse, that of the 8th Umbral Calamity. As I drifted hither to the first, traversing the boundary twixt reality and potentiality, I did bear witness to events yet to come. There I saw the combined forces of Eorzea and the Far East offering fierce resistance to the legions of Garlemald. So fierce, in fact, that they did begin to push the enemy back. Ilm by painful ilm at first, then yalm by yalm, and malm by malm in time. Yet the joy they felt was short-lived, for in so doing they did force the Empire's hand. Faced with defeat, the Garleans turned to a weapon most vile: Black Rose. Its potency defied all reckoning. Once released, the gas took on a life of its own, wreaking untold carnage not only in Eorzea, but in the provinces of the Empire besides. From fighters upon the front lines to babes in their beds, none were spared. And as the casualties became too numerous to count, so did the fabric of civilization begin to unravel. Nor did the land itself escape unscathed, for spreading from the site of its release, Black Rose brought death to the very soil. To survive amidst the chaos and upheaval, men came to live by the sword, the rule of law giving way, inevitably, to the rule of might. Thus was the spark struck and the fire kindled, and swiftly did it spread as a blaze in a field of straw to engulf every corner of the world. Nations worthy of the name did then cease to exist. And those souls brave and true who might have risen to restore order were no more. For the weapon spared not one, not even thee. An endless age of war, begotten by the blight of Black Rose. Such is the legacy of the 8th umbral calamity which I did behold. No matter the cost, we must forestall this tragedy. To that end, I have labored during my sojourn in this world, discovering in so doing the answer to a pressing mystery. That of Black Rose's inexplicable potency. Come. Dost thou recognize yonder chart? Indeed. 'Tis a rendering of the elemental wheel, such as one might find in classrooms across the source. As the chart maketh plain, our world is composed of 6 elements, in addition to which there exist 2 poles in fundamental opposition. Astral, the active; umbral, the passive. As a reflection of the source, the first naturally compriseth the selfsame forces. Yet, curiously, there is a notable divergence in their nomenclature. To be specific, the denizens of this world employ not the terms astral and umbral. Thus was I moved to inquire what names said forces had been assigned. A simple question which yielded a most unexpected answer. Upon demanding the name of the pole aligned with activity and growth, I was told that as life's myriad colors combine to produce black, the people of the first had called it darkness. At this, did my mind begin to race. Yet 'twas only when I asked what name had been given to the pole aligned with passivity that mine eyes were opened to the truth. Peace and tranquility being as purest white, unmarred by color, I was told it had been given the name of light.
That's umbral light and astral darkness, yes? I'm no etherologist, but it strikes me that the nomenclature of the first is rooted in the generation of the 2 forces, while our own appears to focus on their effects. Which makes one wonder, have we had it backwards all this time?
"'Tis indeed a compelling question, and one which beareth closer examination. Yet what knowledge we already possess sufficeth to explain the chain of events. The phenomenon of etheric thinning observed in the source is the consequence of light, the power of stasis, flowing in from the first to stifle the movement of ether within the land. And according to Master Alphino, Black Rose slayeth by halting the circulation of ether within living beings. Should such a weapon be unleashed even as the first were rejoined, replete as it is with light,
we would have a disaster of untold proportions on our hands. A calamity. Well, at least we have a better grasp of what we're facing. Our objective, however, remains unchanged. We are to eliminate the Light Warden of Mheg. Speaking of which, were you able to ascertain its whereabouts?
Aye. 'Tis all but certainly ensconced within Leergear, the castle which standeth in the midst of the lake.
To enter said stronghold, we must needs turn to the Pixies for aid. Fortunately, I have become quite adept at courting their cooperation. Henceforth shall I accompany you, and do all in my power to ensure that my vision doth not come to pass.